Hello guys, welcome to No BS with Nordin. Today I have a very special guest with me. It's Bedros Keuilian. And he's as cool as his name. And I wanted to tell you that it's not like I can just come here to Chino Hills, to his big headquarters for Fit Body Bootcamp. I tried to get a hold of him 2 years ago on social media. I wrote him a message and I was lucky there that he answered like, yeah, sure, something like that. 2 years later, I just wrote a post, and luckily I went through the feed to see, because he didn't tag me, I think it wasn't on purpose, to just say something nice, and I just picked it up right away. Like, oh, I know Bedros, I have to get a podcast with him. Because he's the mastermind, he's a genius, he has written books, he came over from Armenia to be an entrepreneur, he's a serial entrepreneur, he's a business coach. He's like one of those people that you've probably seen him and you just like, where is he? Plus he looks like this, cool person who just want to talk to. And that is why I'm here today. So thank you so much for letting me have this honor. I don't know where to start, but I just wanted to tell you that I feel a little bit like a crocodile that's just waiting until they have that perfect opportunity to like, I'm gonna get it now.
And then, I've learned a lot about you, and I've learned a lot from you, Pauline. You are patient but persistent. And I think that's probably the greatest attributes of entrepreneurs. They are patient yet persistent in getting what they want. And that's to your credit. This is how you ended up here today. So thank you for the opportunity today.
So you are just like me, an immigrant. You came over but you're from Armenia. So
Armenia, former communist country. Yeah.
So how did you come from there over to America?
Good question. So my dad was a member of the Communist Party in the Soviet Union. Not by choice, even though it was by choice. If you decline the opportunity to be a member of the Communist Party, they take you to Siberia and pretty much kill you. So he accepted, in the early 70s, he accepted being a member of the Communist Party. In 1974, I was born in Armenia. While we had a good life in Armenia, my dad just idolized the American lifestyle. I remember him wearing Ray-Ban sunglasses. He wore Jordache jeans. He had Nike shoes, and he listened to Beach Boys. I remember all of that. And when I was 6 years old in 1980, unbeknownst to me, he was saving up money, and he had found a person in the Soviet consulate that he could bribe to let us escape into Italy. And from Italy, we went to the American embassy and declared ourselves as political refugees. And 10 or 12 days later, we were in the United States legally as political refugees. They should write a movie about my dad. I mean, he risked his life, and he did that, by the way. Sure, it was to come to the United States because there's so much freedom, opportunity, hope. Even with all this chaos that's happening right now, with the virus, with the protests, with the separation of sides that we're seeing, which just breaks my heart. But he did that for his son, my older brother, who was about to turn 19. And in Armenia, or the Soviet Union, at the time, the Soviet Union was at war with Afghanistan. Oh, yeah. And my brother was about to join the Red Army, the Soviet Army, and he would have to go and fight the communist war. And so my dad said, there's no way I'm gonna let a country that occupied my country take my son to another country to fight a battle and potentially come back without a limb, because there were so many Soviet soldiers coming back with arms and legs missing. And so to save my brother from going into the army, the Russian army, and to give me opportunity to grow up here, he risked his life and he brought us here. And he's still alive. He's 85 years old in Anaheim. Him and my mom, and they live a great life, and I'm just forever grateful to him.
So I know how to actually start from a new life from you have nothing. You even think about, a toilet paper now. We have a toilet paper, but scare all that too, But like now, like everything costs, you start from nothing. How did you do that? Like, how did your dad start a new life for you?
You're not going to believe this. On day 2, if you're willing to humble yourself, you will have a job the next day. The problem is people are not willing to humble themselves. They are not willing to do something that they see that's beneath them. Now, my dad was a member of the Communist Party. This means in Armenia and throughout the Soviet Union, he was part of the 18% of people were part of the Soviet Union, the Communist Party, which means he can walk into any business with his red card, that identified who he is and do an inspection. And people feared him. Like, he had no reason for us to escape. He had a good life, but he did that for us. And I share that with you because within weeks, he's here, and he had a friend of a friend who let us stay in the guy had a 2-bedroom apartment, him and his wife, in Cypress, California, and he let a family of 5, us, stay with him in his spare bedroom. So 5 of us stayed in his spare bedroom for 1 month. He said, you guys can stay here for 1 month free, then you gotta go. So on day 2, that guy set my dad up with a paper route. At 2 a.m, he was passing out papers out of a van, a 47-year-old man. By 3 days later, he was also working at a pizzeria, cleaning tables, bussing tables. Within a week and a half, he was also pumping gas at a gas station. All of the things were beneath him, but he had a vision for his family. He knew that within a few years, he wanted to open up a little tailor shop. He got my brother a job, and it was all cash under the table. So it was very cheap labor, right? And so the people that they were working for got cheap labor. But when my brother worked multiple jobs, my older sister worked multiple jobs, my dad worked 3 jobs, my mom took care of me. And we literally lived off the bare minimum. So my dad discovered behind one of the grocery stores, so where he pumped gas, there was a grocery store in that shopping center. And behind the grocery store is a giant dumpster. Every grocery store has one, even today. And they throw away food that's gone bad or that's expired. My dad discovered that just because it's expired doesn't mean it's gone bad. And this is what I call the immigrant edge, the immigrant mindset, that you have to be clever, you have to be willing to be resourceful. And he realized that he could fish out the food. And so once or twice a week, he would take me to the dumpster, because I was a small one, I was 6 years old. He'd push me into the dumpster and get the bread, get the milk, get the cheese, get the eggs, get the lettuce. And the lettuce was brown, but you peel enough of the lettuce leaves away, and there's a tiny little green, fresh lettuce under there. You get 5 lettuces, and you have 1 salad. And that's how you live. And within 3 years, so within a month, we moved out. We lived in Section 8 housing. Which is government.
Section 8?
Section 8 housing means it's government assisted.
Okay.
So it's, at the time it was in Santa Ana, kind of the bad parts of town, lots of gangs. So being the foreigner, I didn't speak English. My whole family didn't speak English. There was Mexican gangs and black gangs always fighting with each other. And now the foreigner family moves in, and both gangs turn on me and start beating me up. So I had to learn to fight by getting beat up. And really hated being here because I had a pretty good life in Armenia as a kid. My mom made me the amazing breakfasts, and we had caviar at night, and...
You didn't see all the politics stuff that could happen later on.
No, none of that. And I didn't have a choice in coming, right? But I'm so grateful for that. So the bottom line is that, it was just one step after another. If you're willing to be humble, and then with Section 8 housing. And from there, we had our own apartment. And then a few years later, he rented a home for us. We had a house, and my dad had a backyard where he planted his own vegetables. And by, I think, year number 6, he opened up his tiny little tailor shop in Anaheim, California. And that tailor shop was going out of business, so he got it for very cheap. He bought it for like $8,000 in 1986 or 87. The economy had crashed back then. He later found out that the reason the guy sold it for so cheap is because he had gambling debts.
Oh.
So very bad gangsters would come in looking for Joseph, because it's called Joseph's Tailoring.
Oh, yeah.
They would look for Joseph to collect their debt, and Joseph's gone. And so my dad says, sorry, I'm the new owner. I can't help you. And they would ransack the place and leave. And the place had a very bad reputation with the customers. But over the years, he built good reputation, built goodwill, and soon Macy's and Nordstrom's and Disneyland was sending customers to him. And he had quite the reputation by the time he sold his shop and retired, 25 years later.
So from all the dumpster finding discoveries of food there to coming into fitness, like how did that come? How did you grow up into fitness all of a sudden? Like, well, where did that come from?
You're from Sweden.
Yeah.
I don't know what the diet is like in a Swedish household, but I can tell you in the Armenian household, it's a lot of carbs, a lot of bread, a lot of fried stuff. And I grew up eating, and when you don't have a lot of options, when you're just digging things out of the dumpster, if you're digging out old Velveeta cheese and white bread, and then that's what you're eating, and bologna.
It's not going to be cucumbers and carrots.
Right, exactly, or lean chicken, right? And so my mom did the best she could, but I did grow up chunky, and I probably have a disposition to be overweight. And I was never asked or encouraged to go into sports. So I never played any sports throughout elementary school or junior high or high school. In fact, I went to 3 elementary schools, 2 junior highs, and 2 high schools. I got kicked out of one high school, went to the other for fighting. But I was about 30 pounds overweight in high school. And I remember one of my friends in science class was excited about the next year, because we were in 11th grade, and he said, the next year is prom. I'm like, what's prom? He goes, dude, prom, we get to ask out a girl, we're gonna go in a limousine, we're gonna go to a dance, and if all goes well, then you're gonna have sex with a girl. I'm like, holy shit, I wouldn't know what to do.
Diet is on!
Yeah, and his name is Dave, and he was an athlete on the football team, and he was also my science partner in science class. I said, Dave, dude, I need to get in shape I thought if I can get in shape, I can ask a girl out to the prom. And so I said, can you take me to the school gym? And that afternoon he did, and it was so intimidating. It was so scary. I mean, these meatheads were clanging the weights and making all these sounds, and I'm like, holy crap. He put me, of course, every young man wants to do a bench press. He goes, do the bench press. It was just a bar. And you have no mind-muscle connection yet, no proprioception, and so I'm just moving around everywhere. But I spent all of summer break working out, eating healthier like he taught me, and I came back 35 pounds leaner. And I knew who I wanted to ask out. Her name was Nakaya. I was just completely sold on her. The problem was I didn't have enough confidence. So while I didn't ask Nakaya to the prom, I never made it to the prom. Working out completely changed my life. I had new confidence, higher self-esteem, self-image. In my senior year, people started to notice me, when all of my school career, nobody noticed me. And if you noticed me, it was because you were about to kick my ass. That's why you would notice me. And so now, which was a bad combination, because now it's high school, I have this chip on my shoulder from always getting beat up. Now I'm strong, I've learned how to fight now. And when you're strong, that's when the trouble began for me. But I never went to prom, and I decided I want to be a personal trainer because I wanted to help more people achieve, not so much the body transformation, that's a good byproduct, like the way you look is amazing, but the mental toughness, the confidence, the self-esteem. You can't buy that. There's no pill for that. There's no outfit for that. There's nothing for that other than going in there and fighting your genetics and eating right and doing it consistently and becoming the person you're meant to be. And I wanted to help others do that, and so that's where my journey of fitness began. I got certified. I saw on the back of Muscle and Fitness magazine that you could get certified as a personal trainer, make $100 an hour, call 800 whatever to get certified. So I did the math. If I trained 6 people a day at $100 an hour, that's going to be $600 a day. I'm going to be rich. The problem was nobody was willing to pay me that kind of money. So I got certified. I worked at a big box gym. And one of my personal training clients, his name is Jim Franco, who I talk about in my book, Man Up. He, for some reason, I only believe that because he's got all his children are daughters. They're all women. And I really believe he saw like a son-like figure in me, and he took me under his wing as a son, and he started to mentor me. And he would tell me that I don't know how to sell and I don't know how to close. And I would argue with him. I said, well, I sold you. He said, no, you took my order. I came here looking for a personal trainer. You just took my order. So he taught me the idea of owning my own business, the idea of being an entrepreneur, learning how to sell. He brought me cassette tapes where I learned from Zig Ziglar, Tom Hopkins, Brian Tracy, how to sell. I didn't even know what salesmanship was, and completely opened up my eyes to the entrepreneurship world. And he loaned me $50,000 to open up my first personal training studio.
So how long were you trained, or were you trainer for some time first before you started to like, I have to put this in the system?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, can you tell me just about that?
So about 3 years I worked at LA Fitness, and while I worked there, I also worked at Disneyland as a busboy and a fry cook. And then on weekends,
you multitask.
Yeah, well, I learned from my dad, right? Oh, yeah. See, this is what happens when you don't understand entrepreneurship. Yeah. When you might have a passion about something, but if you don't chase that passion fully, I had a passion. All I wanted to do was train people 24 hours a day. I would train people 24 hours a day if I had my way. Just pay for my rent and food, and I'm good. But I didn't know how to sell, so I couldn't live my passion. Because of that, I worked at Disneyland as a fry cook and a busboy. And then on weekends, I worked as a bouncer at a gay strip club, or I guess it was a strip club on Sunday nights. But it was a gay club. And on Sunday nights, it became a drag show, which then became a strip club, only because they paid $4 more per hour. And so I needed the money. And little did I know, skinheads were going to come in there every night trying to gay bash. And so you could imagine, I left a life of violence and fighting and getting in trouble with the law, only to get a side job on the weekends where I'm fighting skinheads again.
Yeah.
So that's when Jim Franco, I think, really took, I would come on Monday morning to train him at LA Fitness, and he said, "Why are you so tired?" I go, "Jim, I just got off work like 4 hours ago, and I had to barely sleep, and I'm here to train you." And when I explained to him that I'm working as a bouncer, he said, "I'm going to teach you how to sell. I'm going to mentor you." And that's really when it all started. But for about 3-4 years, I was doing my passion job, which was personal training, but I didn't have enough clients. So I had 2 side jobs to make ends meet, which were just frustrating to me. I wish I knew the value of a mentor sooner, so I would have gotten a mentor.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is what all personal trainers have all the time. Like, no matter how many clients you have, there are only so many hours a day.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do after? You cannot scale it. You cannot. You always going to be stuck in that wheel of trying to find new one and new one.
Mm-hmm.
So you came out then with your boot camp.
Yeah.
Or how? So what was that whole thing?
Yeah. So actually, what ended up happening is I ended up. Jim Franco helped me open up my first personal training studio. After that, I opened up 4 more on my own. And I just got really fortunate where this new brand that was growing in Southern California offered to buy my locations. And so they did. This was around 2000, 2001. And so the internet was starting to take off. I decided I want to now help personal trainers learn what I know. So every time, I lost weight, through fitness, and I wanted to pay it forward and help others. And then I learned how to run a business and opened 5 businesses, and I wanted to help I realize now I'm meant to be a servant. Yeah. I'm just meant to serve, and then die. That's how my life's going to go. I've got it figured out. But it took me, to my 40s to figure that out. And so I wanted to help personal trainers. So I started coaching and consulting personal trainers, doing really well from 2002, 2003, all the way to 2008 when the economy crashed. Yeah. When the economy crashed, all these one-on-one personal trainers said, "Hey man, I can't afford you anymore. I'm losing my clients." And so since they're losing clients, they stopped paying me as their coach consultant. And I saw that outdoor boot camps were really taking off, but I knew you can't do them in every state and every country because of the weather. Yeah. And so I said, what if I can take that outdoor boot camp, bring it indoors? Now we lower the cost of personal training, make it convenient and affordable. So my whole idea was take the outdoor group personal training, bring it indoors to make it convenient and affordable. That's the 2 foundations I built Fit Body Bootcamp on. Convenient by way of time, because now at 5 a.m., you can train 30 people instead of just 1. And then affordable, because instead of $600 a month, one-on-one, it's $149 a month, 5 days a week. And that's how Fit Body Bootcamp started. We came up with the idea in late 2008. By 2010, it was a licensing program, which means you can just license the brand from me. By 2012, I turned it into a franchise. And then over the next 5 years, it just took off. I mean, a lot of growing pains, but a lot of growth. And so we hit the Inc. 5000 list 3 years straight. We hit Entrepreneur Magazine's 500 fastest growing franchises 4 years straight. And today we have just over 700 locations worldwide.
It's so impressive, and just knowing also about how the gym business is really struggling right now, and it's also hard to run big gyms.
Yes.
It costs so much, and you're not making money off that. And one thing that I really liked about when I read about the boot camp was that you took it from 60-minute typical of this is what people think they need into 30 minutes because they don't have the time. Plus, what are you going to do with an hour? You're not going to work that hard. People think they need this or that. So you put it into this system of 30 minutes, and then you have several people with the same kind of goals who train together. And it's so much more efficient money-wise, both for the consumer, the customer, and for the one who owns it.
Exactly.
So it's
arguably, you're in great shape. And we can take you to the gym and start a timer, and you can kick your own butt in 30 minutes if you had to. And so if you can take someone who's in great shape and kick their butt in 30 minutes, you can really take anyone, the average person who just needs to be more active, who needs to Now look, if someone's got their L4, L5 fused, or some kind of a joint replacement, I get it. One-on-one, slow is the best way to go. But the average person, 95% of the people, we're going to eat right. We're going to train gross muscle groups. We're going to take what I call active rest, which means even the rest for us in Fit Body Bootcamp is a plank. It's a wall sit. And we're going to do it in 30 minutes, and we're going to keep a positive mental attitude and eat right and work out 5 days a week. And people get results. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Simplicity.
Yes.
That is what works.
Here's a secret to making money and achieving your life goals. Take the complex and make it simple.
Yeah.
Most people take a simple idea and they make it complex, and complexity is the killer of dreams.
That's the whole fitness industry.
They
complicate, they take everything that's simple and make it into things that people think they know nothing.
Yep.
So if they know nothing, now you need a person. I don't like that. I like empowering people.
Yes.
So they have the power in their home, like they know what to do instead of if someone needs a trainer, let's say I would need you for the rest of my life as a trainer, you have taught me nothing. I have to be able to do it independently. So this whole kind of giving them the tools, put them in the system so now they can do it, it's like that is how people get results. That's why they keep coming back. You have this guarantee if you don't like the results, or what is that?
Yeah, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so sign up at Fit Body Bootcamp, work out with us. If 30 days you don't like the smell of the gym, the look of the gym, the attitude of the coach, the results you're getting, let us know, we'll give you your money back. Like, I like to do everything different than, there's another rule for life. Do things different than what everyone else is doing. Who else proved that to us? Well, Elon Musk. I mean, you've got GM, you've got Ford, you've got Dodge, you've got Toyota, Honda, Nissan. They all create electric cars, and he decided to do something very different. The batteries are going to be underneath, like your iPhone, right? I mean, he made a car look like a freaking iPhone, and he's selling it like hotcakes. And so I decided, why are we doing 1-hour sessions with clients? We should be doing 30-minute sessions, and so we can get more clients in. Why are we wasting time doing isolated movements with Mrs. Jones when she needs to move her total body? Like in real life, you move your whole body. Whenever do you isolate your body in real life, right? And so it definitely has its place. Like if you're going to go on stage, it has its place. But again, most people take the simple and complicated. And so my whole model was, and in our industry, as you know, people used to say, I sell 10 sessions at a time. So for 10 sessions, I'm your personal trainer, but then I have to take my personal trainer hat off, put my sales hat on, and then go, hey, Pauline, you're out of sessions. Do you want to buy? And it's an uncomfortable conversation. I said, gyms charge a membership fee. What if we just charge you a membership? You just keep paying until you're happy with your results. Then you can go on your own. And so now we have recurring payment. I said, I'm going to guarantee it, just like anything else. Like if you buy Ginsu knives from an infomercial, what do they say? Buy the knives, try them out. You don't like them, send them back. We'll give you your money back. Same thing here. I can do it in a group training environment because I can add one more client. It's not going to cost me anything. But I can't do a money-back guarantee one-on-one.
No.
And so I completely decided to go sideways. And by the way, the industry in the early 2000s hated me. NSCA declined me from speaking at their event. IDEA declined me from speaking at their event. URSA declined me from speaking at their event. And they literally sent me rejection letters saying, no, thank you. Your ideas don't make sense. That's not how we do it in our industry. And I remember writing them back like an idiot, thinking I could change their mind. And I said, look, I took your certifications. There's not even a paragraph on one page that says, here's how you grow your business. Like, there's nothing about business. It just says where the muscles originate and insert, adenosine triphosphate system, the posterior chain. We got all that. We're the smartest trainers and also the brokest trainers. Of course, no response to my letters. And so I decided I'm going to, again, do something backwards. And I created something called the Fitness Business Summit. And for 11 years, I had the biggest event for gym owners, personal trainers who wanted to learn the business of fitness and not how to balance out your posterior chain. Like we've beat that horse to death now.
Oh, this makes me so happy to hear how much you've been declined, because that is me all the time.
Good.
So it's just like, now I feel like, that I'm onto something maybe. So.
Rejection is fuel.
Right?
I believe rejection is the greatest fuel that we could have as not just entrepreneurs, as people who are meant to reach a potential. Like you look at a giant oak tree who's so massive and resilient, but it started off as a little acorn that had to fall off a tree, somehow get buried. Maybe animals ran over it and pushed it into the ground. And then it had to deal with drought and snow and freezing temperatures, and then too much water when it rained, and then it somehow made it and broke through, and then it had to deal with animals trampling all over it, and somehow became, like, adversity is the seed to growth, to achieving your goals in life. Anyone that thinks that they're going to live their ideal life while bubble wrapped, they're mistaken.
Yeah.
Very disappointed. Yeah.
No, yes, and don't ask. What is that saying when there's don't ask for an easy life? No, because they give. But that is so good, because nothing of strength is going to come from something that's just easy. So like, stop asking for easy times, because if you want to be strong and determined, make it, or do you just want to be a pussy? You know, like, that is no problem either.
Well said.
So like,
exactly right. Amen to that. We should play that line over and over again.
Excuse me, can you say that? Yeah, because I got one. Okay, so I can. But Bedros, I was thinking about all these people, the trainers, who kind of, they don't understand that you're going to be stuck in this with no retirement, you're going to have no money if you don't start to kind of accumulate now with time. Like, so would you say that this kind of boot camp style is something that more trainers should consider, especially now when all the big gyms are not even, I mean, now with the COVID-19. Now, what do you, that brings me into, what do you think about the future then here for people with training?
First of all, I'll tell you this, that I think unless you're like Gunnar Peterson, Tim Grover, who work with high-end celebrities, athletes, who will pay you an obscene amount of money, those are people who have gifts, who will work one-on-one. Unless you're that person, you should be working in small groups and large groups if you work with general public, the general population. The reason is you'll be able to scale your revenue faster. You'll be able to plug in coaches and be able to leverage yourself. Scale and leverage are very important. Scale means how many people could I train in a given 24-hour period. Leverage is, can I have 5 or 6, 7, 8 groups? In other words, 5 or 6, 7. Like, we have one owner who has, Fit Body Bootcamp owner, who has 10 locations in Michigan. That's not even the fitness capital. Like, this is the
that's a lot.
Yeah, we have another one in Arizona, Ben Jones, that has 8 locations. And they were able to leverage and scale because it's a group practice. And so the guy or gal that's still doing the one-on-one, they either need to level up, they need to be so good that they can compete with Tim Grover, Gunnar Peterson, and some of the top experts out there, or they need to move to this model so they can actually have a future in the industry. And then where the future of the industry is concerned, Pauline, look, we're going through hard times. Restaurants are, hair salons are, nail salons, you name it, gyms. But right now, if you're not pivoting to online coaching, if you're not taking your clients outside into parks, if you're waiting to see what happens next,
normal again. No.
The people that are waiting are dying, and we see that. 24 Hour Fitness closed 118 locations in the last week. Last 2 weeks, they announced that. LA Fitness closed 30 some odd locations.
Like full closure? Or?
Full closure. The 24 Hour Fitness filed for partial bankruptcy. CrossFit, they say 30% of the locations will not reopen. My point is, there's a thinning of the herd. There's always a thinning of the herd. It just sometimes happens in a housing market crash in like 2008. Sometimes a terrorist attack like 2001. Other times it's a stock market crash like in the 80s, and it happened again in the mid 2000s. Just this time it came in a form of a virus, which my personal opinion on the virus is that it's a hoax, it's a joke, it's bullshit. But that aside, it's a thinning of the herd, which means the shittier businesses, entrepreneurs are going to go away. And when things go back to normal, and they always will, because humans are resilient and we always...
There's opportunity there.
Yes, that is when you pounce. But the people who aren't going to online coaching, who aren't going to outdoor boot camps, who aren't trying to be resourceful and creative, and they're taking the wait and see approach, they are sadly going to die. And people like you and me will take their business.
Yeah. You know, when this whole thing came out, it was something that just kind of snapped inside me, and just like, this is my perfect opportunity. I'm gonna show all those motherfuckers who think that everything has to be so perfect. I'm gonna show that I have my weights stacked under the bed. I'm gonna do everything at home just because you think that you are too good to train like under these kind.
Yep.
What happened is that, well, now 3 months later, I'm not going back to Ghost because I am much better at home. Plus, I'm leading 100% the way. I'm in there where I can create opportunities for people. So if there's no necessity, why do I have a solution? I need that.
Right.
I need to be in the spot where I need to create. So then reading about you here, about you growing your business and thinking about all the anxiety, stress that I have myself, thinking about that, sleep, and always being like, energy's down. How did you have any problem with that at all?
Oh, sure. I mean, we all do. We're human, right?
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be locked up. We're human. We're social creatures. We're supposed to be within close proximity. We're supposed to connect, communicate, share emotions. We're supposed to touch. We need that. So that piece was missing for a lot of people. What are some of the basic human needs? The first human need is certainty, right? Like we want to know certainty that I can breathe, that I'm going to have water, that I have a roof over my head. The second basic human need is uncertainty. I want a little bit of change in my life. Maybe I'm going to have pizza tonight, not a hamburger, or a steak instead of chicken. That's great. And then, of course, significance is the third basic human need. But that first one of certainty, when that goes away and there's uncertainty in our life by way of survival, like we want uncertainty by way of, let's say it's date night, like where are we going to go on date night, right? Like that's the kind of uncertainty we want.
Not if I'm going to die or not.
Not am I going to die, not am I going to be able to pay my mortgage, am I going to lose my car, am I going to lose my business? So people are, in a very unfortunate place right now. I don't know how long this will last. My opinion is that it will last until the elections are over, because I do believe it has something to do with the elections and the political battle between Democrats and Republicans.
You think this is put into there, maybe? Inserted into this whole ordeal? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. I think it's an opportunity for Democrats to blame Trump, and it's an opportunity for Trump to blame the Democrats. And to me, I don't care what side you are, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. Like, I don't care who the president is, because no one controls my economy but me. Yeah. The president doesn't control our economy. You do. Because we very simply pivoted to online coaching with Fit Body Boot Camps. We shut down our locations temporarily, went to online coaching. Average location lost about 7 to 8% of their clients, but we gained more clients online. And so when people think that, now, is it sad and unfortunate that depression is up, suicide rates are up, domestic violence is up? Absolutely. Heart attack rates are going to be up because of all this stress that people are going through. Was I stressed during that time, worried for my franchisees? I know what I want to do, but at the end of the day, I have 700 franchisees. They're like 700 business partners. So I had to convince them, and I had to make sure that they're on the same page, that they're taking action and not just doing the wait and see approach. But outside of that, once the first 4 to 6 weeks went by, I noticed that they're all on board with the plan. We're going to execute the plan. Now, did I anticipate another round of closures? No. But I did say that don't be surprised if something else happens. I didn't know what that something else was. And so we just have to deal with it. You have to constantly move forward. I've got a friend, he's a Navy SEAL, Jason Redman. He was shot 8 times across the body, once in the face, his cheekbone and his nose blew off. He was left for dead in Afghanistan.
8 times?
8 times, wow. Yeah. He was on a mission with 7 other SEALs. And he was on a mission to catch a guy that was a bomb maker in Iraq, and they ambushed him. And he said the number one thing they had to do was to get off the X. And so oftentimes the X is the point of ambush when shit hits the fan, right? Most people just want to sit there on the X. They said the number one thing his guys were trying to do is get the airplanes to drop bombs on the bad guys while his guys dragged him off the point of ambush, because now that he's down, they're going to keep shooting at him, right? And so, and I realized, like I said, Jason, that's the same in business and battle. They're the same, because as soon as something goes wrong in business, the amateur business owner sits there and panics, and they just keep getting attacked. Like, do something, pivot, get up, ask a question, change your business model, see where else you can find money, contact old clients and reactivate them with online coaching and meal plans and something different. No one's willing to do that. Everyone wants to sit on the X and complain, and the longer you sit on the X and complain, the sooner you're going to die.
Yeah. Oh, and that brings me to my favorite thing that I saw that you wrote. I shouldn't say that, because then I was like, oh, there's so much other. It's the Fighterjet versus the dust cropper. And the reason why I love that so much, because I actually came to Chino here once to ride my first L-39 Albatross. And after that, I went to Russia to fly a jet plane. So I love jet planes. But I loved how you had jet plane versus a crop duster. Crop duster.
Yes.
Can you explain that about people?
Yeah. So about 6 years ago, I realized that we're not all made the same. Meaning, some people, when they're raised, maybe it's because of their parents, maybe it's because of grandparents, maybe it's because of teachers, whoever, but when we're young, there's someone influencing people it's okay to be average, it's okay to be normal, it's okay to blend in. you would never, I would never tell my son or daughter, grow up, have an average life, marry an average person, have an average job, be of average health, right? Make average income, have average impact. Yeah, you would never tell it. I believe in you, right?
Yeah.
Yet we instill average or mediocrity into them. And then there's some other sets of parents, like I took my daughter there, like, I don't know if you guys saw, when we walked in, she had a $5,000 puppy in her hand. Now, I don't know if my family would pay $5,000 if I was kidnapped, if they would pay a ransom of $5,000 for me. And my daughter sold me on the idea of buying her a $5,000 dog, because I've told her that anytime you want something, you have to sell me on the benefits, on the reasons why, how it's gonna benefit my life, like what's in it for me. She knows that. So she came with the PowerPoint, sold me on the idea, we ordered the dog, and they flew the dog out. And I've empowered my daughter, I've empowered my son to go after everything they want, to be aggressive, to make eye contact and shake hands. And then there's other people that choose to make their kids average or mediocre. And because of that, I found that the difference is like a fighter jet. Like a fighter jet has higher expectations. They fly faster, they deal with more stress, they're capable of doing so much more. A crop duster, hey, they're just supposed to be on a cornfield, dusting the cornfields, and that's it. They never really experience more in life. And if I only have 100 years on this planet, like I really believe if we all live our life healthy, positive mindset, active, surround ourselves with good people, maybe I'll live 100 years. If I've only got 100 years and one try, I want to live like a fighter jet and not like a crop duster. I want to experience it all, and I want to experience it all at the highest level. Yeah. And so I really wish more parents would empower their kids instead of making them crop dusters. But I also believe it comes from their experience was that, and so they pass along their experience. If I passed along my experience, it would be don't waste money, don't take risks, don't do anything scary. Like that was my dad didn't want us, he brought us here, but everything was like, hey, we're running out of money, be careful, whatever. My mindset is like, I can produce money as long as I can add value to the world. And I teach that to my kids. And we have to be able to change the next generation by doing that.
So you don't only have Fit Body Bootcamp and written books, and you have consultant, you're a huge business mentor and consultant. You have this Mastermind coaching, or what is that business coaching? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so Fit Body Bootcamp is our franchise with 700 plus locations worldwide. I've got a supplement company called Truline, which is the healthiest.
I've seen that on Amazon, I think.
Yes, yes, you did, exactly. And that is the healthiest, literally like no GMO, no hormones, no sugar, no artificial sweeteners either. We use monk fruit and stevia to sweeten everything. I just believe like, what would I use and what would I give to my mom? Okay, I'm gonna create that, because if I would use it, I'd give it to my mom. There's probably thousands more other people who would use that. So the Truline supplement line, my coaching programs are really about helping people level up in the 4 I's, income, impact, and influence, specifically entrepreneurs. And I've had the good fortune to mentor and coach New York Times best-selling authors, Navy SEALs, Super Bowl winning NFL champions, and just regular people who own small businesses and want to turn them into big businesses so that they can make more impact. And the gift that I have is the ability to see around corners where business opportunities are concerned. And so the coaching with me is 12 months long, and you're basically renting my brain to scale and structure your business faster. I call it time collapsing.
That sounds very interesting, rent a brain. I see typically a lot of women on social media that only do one thing, and that's showing how beautiful they are. They have no message, and the reason when I've asked them, why don't you have a message, something? Because I don't want to piss anyone off, and if they say something, 50% are not going to like it.
Oh, sure.
So they make themselves as neutral as possible. They're beautiful, they have millions of followers, but if you check on the bank account, there might be some sponsorships, but they have no other of their own line. They have no products, no brands, nothing. But they only see the likes and the comments, and then after that, the years are over, and now they have done nothing. What would you say would be a better way of strategy for business that way?
Let me just tell you how accurate you are for a moment. About 8 months ago, I got a DM from a woman who said, I have 1.7 million followers, but I have $1,900 in my bank account, and my rent is $2,400, and it's due in 2 weeks. and I clicked on her account, and I saw exactly what you said. Beautiful woman, lots of likes, lots of comments, but never once monetized it. Here's the reality. You can't take likes and comments to the bank.
No.
You can't pay your rent, your mortgage. You can't donate to your charity and church with likes and comments. I think people need to understand that your job on social media is to find a problem and then solve it in exchange for money.
Yeah.
And the people that are afraid to solve problems in exchange for money are going to suffer. And unfortunately, there's too many of those people. They reach out to me far too often, and they think somehow I can, in 2 weeks, do something with her big following to give her enough money to pay her rent. And I said, I'm so sorry, please go borrow money from someone that you trust who will loan it to you. She said, that's your business advice? I said, no, that's not business advice. That's so you don't that's so you don't become homeless.
Yeah.
You know, because I can't make you money overnight, but I can make you money over months.
I love that.
Yeah.
Bedros, thank you so much. I am so honored. I have like chills and
Thank you.
And you know, just hearing your passion, like it energizes me so much. Like I'm thriving off this. So this is highlight of 2020. Just like, oh, COVID. Oh, great, I got Bedros. Yeah. So thank you so much. And guys, you go and check out Bedros Keuilian. And now you know if you will always remember his name now. Koulian. Now Keuilian is different, but Bedros Keuilian, go and check him out. His business mentor. You will get a lot of energy from his platform. So go and check it out. Thank you so much for watching.